Welcome back to The Deep Dive. So we've got a dense stack of sources here, all covering the mid-season football market. We're going to skip the fluff and really get into the core numbers and tactics.
Yeah, because the January transfer window, it's not just about buying players, is it?
Not at all. It's this moment of truth where clubs have to put a price tag on, I don't know, their panic.
Hello.
On their urgency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And on their stability for the rest of the season. The deals we're looking at today are all about sort of immediate triage. We're not talking long-term summer strategy.
This is about fixing a hole in the boat right now.
Precisely. And our mission, based on these sources, is to look at everything from these massive rejected bids to deconstructing some really cleverly engineered replacement deals.
And also how global competition, specifically from MLS, is changing how we value young, promising talent.
It's a huge factor.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're starting with a massive illustration of, desperation meeting a brick wall. Bournemouth. They're deep in the trenches, urgently trying to replace their winger, Antoine Semenyo, who's set to make that high-profile move to
Manchester City. Yeah, a huge move.
A huge move, and that leaves a substantial talent deficit they have to solve, yesterday.
It's a massive strategic headache.
Yeah.
And, the clock is ticking down on the window.
So they act, they go big. The source material shows Bournemouth submitted a truly substantial offer of 40 million.
40 million.
For Stuttgart's German winger, Jamie Leweling. That figure, especially in January, just screams panic tax, doesn't it?
It does. They were willing to pay a huge premium to just get this problem solved instantly.
And what's fascinating here, what I couldn't get over, is that Stuttgart just said no.
Flat out. Rejected the proposal outright. You have to think about the size of that decision.
For a club that isn't, in that absolute top tier of European football, 40 million it's transformative money.
It's a huge windfall that they have consciously just walked away from.
Wait, hold on. Let me challenge that for a second. Is it desperation on Bournemouth's part, or is it just bad planning?
That's a fair question.
Were they just too slow? Because by waiting this long, they forced themselves into a position where they have to pay a $40 million fee, and even that wasn't enough.
Well, this is where you have to go a bit deeper than the headline. Stuttgart's rejection, it reveals this concept of what I'd call non-negotiable utility cost.
What do you mean by that?
They're performing well right now. Maybe they're targeting a European spot, or maybe they just want to guarantee they avoid a relegation battle. Stability.
Okay.
If they take the 40 million, they might need, 2 or 3 more points to hit their season's objectives? How much is that guaranteed mid-season performance worth?
More than 40 million, apparently.
For Stuttgart, the immediate utility of Leweling, the guaranteed performance, the team cohesion, is valued at more than 40 million in cash. They decided the risk of taking the money and finding a lesser replacement just wasn't worth it.
So the price tag they've put on their own season's trajectory is implicitly higher than the offer on the table.
Wow. Exactly. They're basically telling the market, our season is not for sale. And that, of course, makes Bournemouth's efforts just exponentially more complicated as the clock ticks down.
Okay, so that sets the stage for difficulty. Now, let's look at the flip side. A club that got exactly what they needed. But they did it by structuring a remarkably sharp financial deal.
Lazio.
They moved swiftly, they had a major injection of cash, and of course, a corresponding hole left by Matteo Guendouzi.
Right, who went to Fenerbahce for a very healthy 30 million.
So they moved with, surgical precision. They needed specific systemic fit, not just a talent replacement. And the sources say they identified Kenneth Taylor, the 23-year-old from Ajax, as the ideal profile.
And that phrase, ideal profile, that's key.
What does that actually mean here? Are we just talking stats, or is this about someone who can step into the exact role Guendouzi just left?
It's the latter. And it's why the deal makes so much sense. They needed a box-to-box guy, comfortable on the ball under pressure, who can link the defense to the attack. Taylor fits their coach's system.
Right.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The financial engineering.
Okay.
Guendouzi leaves for 30 million, which gives them a lot of flexibility.
Sure.
The deal for Taylor is structured as a total package of 18 million to Ajax.
Wait. They turned a 30 million sale into an 18 million liability. How did they manage to pull that off?
It's a masterclass in risk management and, navigating financial fair play, or FFP.
Right.
That 18 million isn't flat cash. It's broken down into a 15 million fixed fee.
Okay.
Plus 3 million in bonuses. And crucially, the sources note that some of those bonuses are reportedly, difficult to achieve.
Difficult as in they're based on things like qualifying for the Champions League. Or the player hitting some crazy number of goals, not just
right.
appearances.
Precisely. By making the bonuses contingent on elite, non-guaranteed results, Lazio does two things. First, they minimize the immediate upfront cost. Second, and this is critical for FFP, they avoid that immediate liability on the books.
Because FFP is all about operational costs and immediate debt, right?
Exactly. So this heavily bonus-loaded deal lowers that fixed liability. They get the player they want for an immediate 15 million, not 18 million.
But if those bonuses are genuinely hard to get, how does Ajax feel about that? I mean, they're potentially only getting 15 million for a player they were told is worth 18 million.
Well, it reflects Ajax's position. You know, they're a selling club, they're under some pressure, they got a decent fixed fee, they offload a player, and they still have a chance at a bigger payout if Taylor's a massive success.
And for the player?
For Taylor himself, he agreed to personal terms, earning just under 2 million per season. It's just a huge strategic win for Lazio. They got their ideal player for a low upfront cost.
That's the difference between buying panic relief and buying strategic stability.
Okay, so we've talked about immediate needs, but the market never stops hunting for tomorrow's stars, does it?
Never. Which takes us to the escalating battle for emerging talent, specifically in the Netherlands. We're looking at an 18-year-old striker, Paulo Da Silva from NEC.
And he's the Eredivisie under-19 top scorer. This is where things get really interesting, right? Domestic dominance meets youth scouting.
And the battle for him is intense. Both Ajax and Feyenoord have officially approached NEC.
Making them the most concrete options. So this isn't just about adding talent for them, it's about
preventing your biggest rival from securing the future of Dutch football. It's highly territorial.
While they're fighting over an 18-year-old, AS Monaco is looking for a more veteran solution for their midfield.
A very strategic target, yeah. Leicester City's Boubakary Soumaré, who's 26.
And the sources say he's been a long-term target, but the urgency is definitely new. Why now? Well, this raises a crucial point about high-profile signings that just don't deliver. Monaco is in the market because Paul Pogba has so far failed to regularly feature.
Ah, so there's the connection.
It's not just a tactical gap on the field, it's mitigating the fallout, both tactical and reputational, from a huge signing that isn't contributing.
So the Soumaré move is basically a direct reaction to the Pogba situation not working out.
In many ways, yes, they need reliability. Soumaré's contract at Leicester is up at the end of the season, which gives Monaco some leverage.
And what does he bring?
He's a proven defensive midfielder. He's made 15 appearances this season, a couple of assists. He's an immediate reinforcement, a solid plug for a performance gap left by someone who should be their midfield anchor but isn't.
So the cost of Pogba's absence is partly measured in what they have to pay now for Soumaré.
That's a great way to put it.
The market is always moving. But we also have to recognize just how global this whole thing has become. I mean, MLS is not just a retirement league anymore.
Not even close. It's competing aggressively for high-potential talent from Europe.
Which brings us across the Atlantic to Los Angeles FC, LAFC.
Yep. They're targeting a 21-year-old Swedish attacking midfielder, Amin Boudri, from GAS. And this just perfectly illustrates the escalating ambition of that league.
They're acting like a serious European competitor. LAFC raised their bid to about 3 million.
Which is around 30 million Swedish krona.
And they're competing directly against established European clubs for him. He's clearly an exciting prospect, coming off a strong season, 6 goals, 2 assists.
It's so significant because LAFC isn't just buying a placeholder. They are actively targeting these high-upside players in their sort of prime acquisition phase. That's a huge shift.
Right. They're snatching up players who had traditionally moved from, say, Sweden to Belgium or maybe the championship to develop.
And the environment is a huge draw. If this deal goes through, Boudri would be joining.
High-profile players like Son Heung-min and Hugo Lloris. That tells you the message LAFC is sending.
Come here. Develop alongside world-class talent and be the future of a rapidly growing league. That kind of pulling power completely changes the valuation for these young players.
Absolutely. Now, let's pivot to the flip side of all this strategic movement. The short-term calculated loan market, the developmental reset button.
And we have the difficult case of Luca Koleosho. He's a 21-year-old Italo-American winger.
And he was just struggling for game time on loan at RCD Espanyol. Played just 5 games total, only 60 minutes in the Liga?
60 minutes and half a season? I mean, that's just brutal for a young player's confidence and development. It's a devastating waste of 6 months.
So the club has to act fast to salvage the player.
They do. His loan at Espanyol is being cut short. He'll go back to Burnley and then immediately go out again to Paris FC on loan until the end of the season. It's a rapid-fire move just to get him playing.
What's the mission at Paris FC? Is he expected to be some kind of savior for them?
No, and that's the key to these developmental loans. The objectives are much more modest. The sources say he's not expected to be an immediate starter.
So what's the point?
His job is to provide competition, provide some energy in what they call an underperforming forward line. He's their first signing of the window. It's a low-risk injection of talent meant to spur performance and, most importantly, just restore Koleosho's minutes and his faith.
So success is measured in appearances, not just wins. It's a perfect illustration of how this window serves every rung of the football ladder, isn't it?
It really is. We've seen the financial psychology of the winter window just laid bare.
We saw the high cost of refusal, with Stuttgart rejecting that 40 million bid for Leweling, valuing stability over cash.
Then we saw the financial ingenuity of Lazio's heavily bonus-loaded deal for Taylor, using those FFP-friendly structures to manage risk perfectly.
And we've seen these escalating battles for young talent, whether it's the domestic fight for Da Silva or LAFC's aggressive global bid for Boudri to play alongside stars like Son and Lloris.
It really showcases the pulling power of the MLS brand. The pressure is just universal.
So what does this all mean for the clubs involved?
I mean, at the end of the day, it means that every single decision being made right now fundamentally redefines the intrinsic value of these players.
The necessity is tactical, but the implementation is all financial.
Exactly.
Which raises an important question for you, the listener. We saw Monaco's need for Soumaré was driven by Pogba's failure to feature, which dramatically increased Soumaré's value just out of tactical necessity. So when you look at the urgency of this window, how much of a player's final price is based on their actual skill? And how much is just the cost of filling an unexpected hole?
And think about that structure. You have Lazio's heavily bonus-based deal on one hand and LAFC's aggressive raised cash offer on the other. Which one do you think is the smartest way to address an immediate need while still protecting the long-term financial health of the club? Something to mull over as the deadline gets closer.